It's morphin' time. Pterodactyl.
Hi there, this is Datila with 3 Years of Wrestling, bringing you the Wrestling Time Post Show, and for tonight I will be reviewing AEW Dynamite. Alright, so AEW Dynamite kicked off with CM Punk sitting in the ring, and he had like a little box with him. So he started off by saying that we should know his name, and that he's straight edge, and straight edge means I'm better than you. And he spoke those words over 20 years ago. So actually, before I continue, I have to say, I actually really like that part because I remember growing up, like I hated straight edge society CM Punk at first because he was an annoying preachy heel, but everything he would say was actually pretty true. And I remember he would always say, straight edge means I'm better than you. So actually, but now that I'm older, I really appreciate the whole straight edge society CM Punk. I think that was amazing. All right, and then he said he became the foundation. Oh, he said it became the foundation of his career, and he helped inspire the next generation of wrestlers. And some wrestlers became straight edge because of him. And he says that MJF beat him twice in Chicago, and you think he'd be furious, he'd be mad, but he's not. He's actually proud of MJF. He said he was the foundation of MJF's career is a ring that he won with the assistance from other people. He said at Revolution, which is Sunday, March 6th, when he gets his rematch, he says he asked MJF would he be his Valentine. So in this box, he pulls out a dog collar. He was going through the list of matches as he's had. He says he's had not the steel cage because MJF can still run away. So after he pulls out the dog collar, he tells MJF that he wants it to be his well, he asked him to be his Valentine. So he asked MJF to come out, and he holds a picture of MJF when he was a kid meeting him as CM Punk. And I thought this was really cool because we've all seen that picture before. So I'm really excited for this dog collar match at Revolution. I cannot wait. Question is who goes over? You know what? Honestly, I think MJF goes over CM Punk. And because MJF needs to win more than CM Punk. That's just my opinion. So after this CM Punk segment, we get Lee Moriarty versus Bryan Danielson. Wow, this was an amazing match. Great opening contest, I should say. And I like how Daniel Bryan extended his hand like he was gonna shake Lee Moriarty's hand, and he just went like that. He had no intention whatsoever of shaking Lee Moriarty's hand. And this goes back to last week how he said he was going to teach Lee Moriarty a lesson. So this was a fantastic match. We need another part to it. Like maybe not next week, but we eventually need to see a second part because this was fantastic. So of course Bryan Danielson won. He put him in but the way he won was he put him in a triangle sleep. He put Lee Moriarty in a triangle sleeper while he was holding up his biceps like this, which I thought was hilarious. Typical heel. So then after that, he grabs a microphone and starts saying that he came out to teach Lee Moriarty a thing or two about violence. And that's why and then he asked the crowd if he did if he did show Lee Moriarty a thing or two about violence. Then he goes on to say that's why he doesn't trust the American public for anything because they don't give him the response that he wants. And he says he wanted to team with John Moxley to teach wrestlers about violence. And so he has John Moxley to come out, which he does. So Moxley says that once he was young, hungry, angry, and poor, and he took a shot at the American Dragon. He said over the years they've had multiple matches together, but he has yet to beat Bryan Danielson. And so Moxley begins to wonder Moxley begins to wonder exactly if Bryan is just doing this so that he doesn't face him, or if he's just doing this because he actually wants to team with him. So Moxley brings up the fact that he wants to. He thought about how awesome it would be to be a tag team. But then he says Bryan doesn't want to stand against from Jon Moxley. And he's basically saying that this isn't a yes and is it a no, and he will give Bryan time to decide. So I actually really like this. This is a really cool segment because I want to see both. I want to see both. I want to see Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson obviously have a match together. Like, how cool will that be? But I also want to see them team up together and just wreak havoc among AEW. So next we had a Face of the Revolution qualifying match. It was Wardo versus Max Caster. This was, I don't want to call it a squash match because it went on for a pretty long time. And Wardlow looked strong, of course. Of course, Caster was going to try to cheat, but that wasn't enough. So Wardlow ended up winning. But interesting thing is that after Anthony Bowens was attacking Wardlow, Shawn Spears didn't do anything. He just stood there. Just stood there and watched, and Wardo fought off Anthony Bowens. So that leads again to the question, like, what that leads to Wardo turning on MJF and on the Pinnacle. So I'm really excited about that. So then after that, we got Hangman Adam Page talking about how, well, actually, he didn't even get a chance to talk because he was interrupted by none other than Adam Cole, baby. He said that he's pretty much, that Hangman has fought Bryan, he's fought Omega, and he's fought Lance Archer, and that he's earned the right to call himself world champion, but that Cole has been champion everywhere he's been. Hangman fires back and says that Cole must feel some type of way watching his best friends build a wrestling company and start a revolution without him. Then Adam Cole says that the Young Bucks and the Dark Order don't even mention Hangman's name anymore. And Hangman says that Adam Cole doesn't have a good track record with friends either. So, and Adam Cole tells Hangman he'll always just be the other Adam. And then as Adam Cole leaves, Red Dragon shows up and they start beating up on Hangman Adam Page. And then Adam Cole turns around and joins in on the beatdown. And then guess who comes out? Security comes out and they separate them. But then Dark Order comes out to assist. So it's interesting that security came out first and then the Dark Order. So so I wonder what this means for Dark Order and Hangman Adam Page. Are they still friends? Probably not, maybe. Then we had Chris Jericho and Jack Kager versus Santana and Ortiz. So of course, Eddie Kingston was coming out and is going to be in the corner of Santana and Ortiz. I like how Ortiz gave Chris Jericho the DDT. And then I like my first spot in this match was when Jericho caught Santana after the cannonball and put him in the walls of Jericho. And then in the end, the ending sequence, you had Santana grab the rope. And then Eddie Kingston got taken out by Jericho. And then Ortiz attacked Jericho, which the ref didn't see. And so Santana and Ortiz ended up winning this match, which they really needed the victory over Jericho and Hager. So it was the right call. Then we had the no DQ match. It was Mercedes Martinez versus Thunder Rosa. Wow, this was another straight banger, and these had great matches back to back. Seriously. All right, so first I have to say Thunder Rosa came out rocking Kill Bill attire. I don't know if anybody caught that, but she was rocking that Kill Bill attire. And she came out with the steel chair. So I like how Thunder Rosa sent Mercedes Martinez crashing through the barricade and they fought in the crowd. Give me 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that, people. So she had sent her crashing through the barricade, and then they went to the crowd. Then the Rosa climbed up the railing, and she landed on Martinez. That was pretty amazing. Then the Mercedes Martinez did a fisherman buster to Thunder Rosa onto a table. How cool was that? And then Thunder Rosa threw a trash can at Mercedes Martinez, which I thought was hilarious. And then Mercedes pulled out a lot of chairs in the middle of the ring, intending to use them, but instead, Thunder Rosa used them when she dropped her on those, and Thunder Rosa ended up being victorious. So, you can tell Dr. Britt Baker was not too happy with Thunder Rosa being victorious. So she came out, and her sensei ended up being Michael Cove from Cobra Kai, so which I thought was pretty cool. And he told her to finish her. So we had Jamie Hayter attack Thunder Rosa. And then they started, once Mercedes got up, she handed her the rod so she can finish it. But she didn't. She hesitated. So then that led to a double beatdown between Thunder Rosa and Mercedes Martinez. And Dr. Britt Baker and her crew stood over them. So I think we're going to get started as a tag team match. It's going to be Thunder and Mercedes Martinez, probably Dr. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. And then we had our main event. It was the TNT Championship match. It was Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara. I like how both men shook hands at the beginning of this match. And then I really like that Spanish fly from the top rope to Darby Allin, but I think Sammy Guevara hurt himself. And of course, during the match, Andrade tried to get involved. Sting stopped him. And Sammy Guevara ended up victorious in this match. Then Matt Hardy beat down on Sammy Guevara. And in the end, Andrade stood tall, holding both the TNT titles. So that tells me he's after the TNT Championship next. All right, well, we had some breaking news yesterday with Cody Rhodes leaves AEW. So Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer Figure 4 Online said reports Cody and Brandy Rhodes leave AEW after failing to come to terms on new deals, which is interesting to say the least. So it says both had signed 3-year deals that expired on December 31st, 2021. And over the last 6 weeks, there have been negotiations for a new deal, with both continuing to work in the community relations and on television as if they were staying. That's interesting. Let me see. So I'm paraphrasing. So behind the scenes, both had major positions. Cody was an executive vice president, headed community relations, and was also partners with QT Marshall on the Nightmare Factory training school, where he will remain part of. So Dustin Rhodes, Cody's brother, who is staying and has said he's very happy in AEW, is also training wrestlers. And Cody has been a part of 2 television shows, Rhodes to the Top, a TNT reality show about the couple, which ended up with timing of Brandy giving birth to their first child, and Go Big Show, a wacky and dangerous competition show on TBS where he is one of the judges and was a pitchman in the television commercials. Interesting. So it says that the latter is in the 2nd season, while the 2nd season for Road to the Top was agreed upon some months back. No formal announcement was made, and the belief has been with the situation as is that it will not come back. So that could explain one of the reasons why he left. He goes on to say that until the negotiations fell apart on Monday, Most of the top people in AEW were not aware that anything was up and figured both Cody and Brandi were staying. Let me see. Okay, so to skip further ahead, it says, as far as the story behind the story, there is a ton of speculation right now. What we do know is that as of Monday morning, lawyers were involved working out the split. With no contract, both could go to WWE immediately. In WWE, there was locker room talk that Cody was possibly coming in. Whether Brandi would come in and wrestle wasn't known. But it's clear that she wanted to be a wrestler and made it clear that after giving birth, she wanted to return. Khan has said that in the past that he had options on all key talent for 2022. Rhodes did not have an option year and possibly a 2-year one, so it had been Khan's call not to exercise it. And then he goes on to say, let me see, if Cody and Brandi are leaving, the only logical place they could go is WWE. But could this be carefully crafted Bryan Tomanesque work? Let's see. So what do you guys think, just based on that alone? Like, do you guys think this is all work, or do you think Cody and Brandi are actually leaving? I think Cody and Brandi are actually leaving. So it seems like they might head to WWE. The question is, if they go to WWE, can we even trust Vince McMahon? I mean, Vince McMahon has two ways to book this. He can either be petty and just bury Cody Rhodes, or he can strap a rocket onto Cody and actually book him. Kind of to send a message to AEW so in case people are enticed to leave and say, hey, look how I'm treating Cody. See, I treated him good. Now I'm trying to entice you to leave, but who knows? What do you guys think? Does Cody Rhodes go to WWE? Can we trust Vince McMahon to book Cody Rhodes properly? I mean, Vince is known to hold grudges and to be petty, but I guess we have to wait and see. I personally think he's done with AEW, and it looks like all signs point to WWE. So, with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow after Impact. Bye.